Hello viewers, I hope you're all doing fine and doing great. Today I'm here with another very interesting topic from Indian polity, the appointment of governor. The topic for my lecture series will be selected at random. So after my first video on preamble, today I'm taking you directly to part 6 of the Indian Constitution titled The State. Under the state government, the first person, or perhaps the first very interesting office to deal with, to start with, is the office of our Honorable Governor, the first citizen of a state. So let's start with this note that the office of governor is critically very important for Indian polity functioning. The office that is required, that is necessary for both the central government as well as for the state government. Altogether, there are 9 articles that takes care of governor's office starting from article 153 till 161. But today I'll not be covering all the articles as I'll be sticking with my own topic of discussion, that is appointment of the governor. So I'll be relying only on few articles that actually talks about the appointment of our honorable governor. And if time permits, we will have a video that covers the power and function and role of our union governor. The state governor. Sir Karia Commission of 1983 has said governor's office as key in ensuring peace and harmony and cordial center and state relationship in India at all times. Governor is a constitutional officer and therefore holds a very significant place under the Indian Constitution. But what seems to be even more important and significant is from the point of view of civil service examination. Every year, questions are set by the Commission on the topic of governor. So it's right and it's very good that we're starting first with the appointment of governor. Later on, we can dig deeper, we can discuss deeper and detailed on the office. So for the point of view of the civil service examination, governor office becomes important. Second, for the state governance and administration, governor is a key figure. All the time we should remember this one. And is a primary tool used by the central government when center wants to approach the state or center wants to intervene in the matters and the socio-political affairs of the state. So during that time, the office of governor becomes very handy and he acts as the primary link during that time. Perhaps governor's office is the only office, constitutional officer, who does not require election, even though Election Commission of India have devised 2 types of elections, direct election and indirect election. In direct election, almost 18 years and above, all the adult population of India, they directly take part in selecting candidates during election. In indirect election, only the representative of the people, they take part in such elections. Governor neither is coming from the direct election, nor is allowed to have even the indirect election. He just follows 2 steps, that is nomination and directly appointment. So all the ministerial candidates, the appointment is coming actually after a very tough competition, after a very tough electoral process. In fact, in a democracy like India, the real thing lies in election. Nomination and this appointment, they are just formalities. Filing a nomination, it is our proposal to participate in election. Any Indian citizen who is 25 years of age can file a nomination, no issue, there's absolutely no problem. And appointment, provided you win the election, there'll be one competent authority to appoint you. So that's how a minister is getting elected and appointed. So in case of governor, neither directly elected by the people, just like the general election of Lok Sabha and Assembly election, nor is following the style of president by constituting a very electoral college. But the governor is elected by the president by warrant under his hand and seal. I'm just directly referring to reading out Article 155. Here the word president stands for the Union Council of Ministers. particularly the cabinet ministers headed by the prime minister, because we have Article 74, and Article 74 is binding on the president, because particularly after the 42nd constitutional amendment of 1976, which have made the president binding by the opinion or the advice of the Union Council of Ministers, even though 44th constitutional amendment tries to give the president little power to send back the opinion or the advice to the Union Council of Ministers for reconsideration. But remember, that is only once. So this is how governor, in matter of governor appointment, there's more of a formality. To become the governor of a state, the constitution has laid down two very simple qualifications under Article 157. First, he should be a citizen of India only, and then the age is 35 years of age. For member of parliament and for the ministers, if you want to conduct election for the MP and ministers, the minimum age is 25 years. But for the governor, for the president, and for the vice president, the minimum age is 35 years of age. So only two qualifications are set for the governor. Additionally, there are two conventions that have developed over the years. First, he should be an outsider. That is, governor should be an outsider, in that is, he should not belong to the state where he is appointed or he is posted, so that he is free from the local politics. So in times of danger, in times of crisis, in emergent situation between the center and state, friction, confrontation, dispute, anything like that. So in times of those emergent situation, governor should not be in a position to sideline with the state or local politics. In fact, governor represents chiefly as the central agent. So in order to serve that interest, governor usually is not appointed from the state where he is posted. So usually an outsider who should not be able to influence the local politics, or who should not come under the influence of the local politics, is appointed as governor. So that's clear. Next important thing is that, which is not written but it's in the convention, is that proper consultation with the concerned CM of the state, so that smooth functioning of constitutional machinery in the state is carried out. So this is another prerequisite, that in fact CM and governor, they have to work together as one. In fact, unless there is peace, coordination, and cooperation between these two offices, the state will suffer severely. So we expect that the state to be a good state, a progressive and healthy state. The governor and the CM should work together as one. So these are the first two, is a written qualification which is reflected in Article 157. The other two is, there's nothing written about this articles. It's not a written law, but it's just a convention which we have been practicing on and on. In fact, the constitution does not know that outsiders should be appointed as the governor of that state. And constitution is absolutely also not, it's not aware that consultation with the concerned CM be consulted first. In fact, these are all convention. Nothing is written in the constitution. But these are, it's good that we are observing this norms in this convention. In addition to this, Article 157 says governor should not come from sitting MP, member of parliament of any house, or sitting MLA. So what happens if somebody is elected as a governor from sitting MP or sitting MLA? Then he should vacate his seat of MP or MLA from the day he is appointed as a governor. So that's very clear. Next important is, governor should not be holding any office of profit. So office of profit means any office that gives you salary, monetary income, or gives you advantage, or gives you income, anything that gives you gives your pocket swelled by monetary gains. So constitution actually does not want dual applications. Governor is a very dignified office. So somebody who is appointed as a governor should discharge his office as a governor only. So if you are holding any other office, in fact your attention gets divided. So constitution doesn't want that to happen. So anybody who is appointed as a governor should only serve as a governor, which is very dignified office, and should fulfill the constitutional obligations of creating a very healthy center and state relationship. In fact, India, we have this cooperative federalism, so governor is an agent of cooperative federalism. So the office of prophet or the sitting MLA, which discharges dual responsibilities, this is not allowed by the Constitution of India under Article 158. The original Constitution of 1950 under Article 153 says there shall be a governor for each state. Remember the word each state. So if you have a state, you should have your own governor. So if you have, India has 28 states, then even governor should be 28. So this mandate was allowed till 1956 only. So what happened was, throughout this history of Indian politics, in fact, governor died, governor resigned. So during those very crises, central government took a long time to fill the gap and appoint a new governor. So what happened was, consequently, the neighboring governor took up the task of shouldering the additional part to cover those affected areas, to the affected state, and the experience showed that it was good, it was competent. So it was allowed to function only till 1956. So 1956 is important, especially for the office of governor and for the duration and all that. So seventh constitutional amendment made it possible that a person can be appointed and the person can act as a governor for even two or more states also. So that is very important in the history of Indian politics and Indian constitution. So seventh constitutional amendment made it possible for the same person to act as a governor for two or even more states. Now, if that happens, what about the salary? Or what about the allowances or emolument? Well, the two, if a same person is serving as a governor of two states, well, both the states pay to the governor same ratio of allowances or emolument or salary to the governor. Now, if that's a question, the president may determine is mentioned here. So here again the word president is mentioned, which means the Union Council of Ministers headed by the Prime Minister, they will determine who will pay what ratio, which state will pay what ratio. Will they pay equal, or will they pay 80 by 20, 70 by 30, 60 by 40, depending on the development of the state, depending on the any criteria that they will fix. So if that's the question, then it is always the central government that will decide on the matter. In democratic countries, 5 years is a popular term. In India also, under Article 156, governor is actually assigned 5 years duration. But there's a serious loophole in this article because of the presence of the line, the pleasure of the president. And this pleasure theory applies in real sense of the term very seriously in context of governor. When governor office is formed, it is very formal. But when governor is removed, it's very casual, very sudden, and very prompt. None of the articles talks about what will happen to the position of governor when the regime changes, or what will be the fate of governor if suddenly tomorrow the ruling government at the center collapses. So no procedure of impeachment. For president, we have Article 61, which is designed to deal with in case if president is to be impeached by one single reason, that is constitution violation. But for the governor, there's constitution is absolutely plain, absolutely silent. Constitution cannot save governor during this crisis. So the dignified office of governor is under question because constitution is not able to save governor during this crisis. Many a time throughout the history of Indian political system, governor died, and many a time majority of the governors are changed and removed because of changes in the central government. So this is one reason that the fate or the security of the governor's term is not fixed by the constitution. Supreme Court has given a very strong observation and ruling that The removal of governor cannot be at the whims and wishes of the central government, but there has to be a very valid reason for such removal, and that the change in central government should not and cannot also be the sole cause of removal of governors of the state. And President also, the Supreme Court also say that President should not be the sole authority to decide on the removal of governors. So these are very strong sort of observation. Likely that this observation and this ruling might in future reform the office of governor and once again allow governor to be a very responsible and very dignified office, which will help the cooperative federalism to bloom in context of Indian polity. And with that, I have come to an end of today's session. Hope to see you again next time in my next polity lecture. Thank you so much and good night.